know if I recognize this person. Oh no, and it still says Kevin Powell. There's just so much to maintain.
I'm Kevin.
George Francis. How's
I
it
can't
going?
see. It's good, but I can't see anything.
Slight downside to this awesome outfit. I love it, but
Thank you.
what you're showing me today might need, you to be able to see what. No, okay. Well, we are just rolling with it, chat. We are rolling with it. And now it does say your name, George Francis. Great to see you. Thank you so much. And there's my camera going. So it's just going to keep doing that.
Is it just me?
I think. I'm sorry?
Is it just me? No.
It is my camera deciding today is the day that we are going to just shut down every 2 minutes. But I don't want to hold you up anymore.
All right.
What did you come to show us, my friend?
Well, I came to show you how you can make Christmas cards for your friends and maybe family and stuff when you've forgotten to do them and you've got like 5 minutes to make them and you're like, oh, I need to make some Christmas cards right now. I've made a CodePen.
I can't relate to that at all. I've never done things last minute and forgotten things. Thank you, George.
Yeah.
I think George is doing this specifically for me.
Yes.
So do you want me to go through the CodePen on my screen?
I think that's best.
All right,
given
cool.
my current situation.
Sounds good. So I think this is the right file. Is that correct?
It is. That looks about right.
Should I drop this on chat?
Yeah.
All right. Chat, check this out. How good is this? So this is a generative Christmas tree card maker. It's just, Lynn, yes, it is being recorded. So you will be able to see all of this. But donations will only be matched for like today-ish. So yeah, and this is being recorded so that George can so this will follow George for the rest of his life. Correct. If that's what you're asking. Yep. So yeah. So
all right.
Walk us through this, my friend.
Yeah, for sure. So this is a wintry tree made with SVG and JavaScript, and it's a slight rhyme. All of the interesting stuff is in the JavaScript at the bottom.
Got it.
The CSS is so sickeningly boring compared to what we just spoke about, so we can just hide it. I'm ashamed.
Perfect.
It's
so good.
It's CSS3.
All right. Let's go to JavaScript 10. Here we go.
Yeah, for sure. This is JavaScript 9000. So it's So this is it's an SVG, but it's being like scripted using a library called svg.js, which I use for lots of stuff. It just makes the process of making like dynamic SVGs a lot easier compared to if you were to write it with JavaScript. I use it all the time. It stops you from having to remember like the SVG namespace and Google it every time you create an element, and it lets you do like nice things with positioning stuff and all of that kind of thing. So so we've got that, and then at the top we've got a few like utility functions that I keep in a bucket somewhere in GitHub that I pull in sometimes for stuff. We'll chat about those in a second as well.
Cool.
And then just moving on, we got I think I can see it. We've got a width and a height, and that's like the drawing space for our card. So it's a square, 1024 by 1024.
Twin the night before Christmas, and also the house.
Twin the view box was created, and then we create after that we create an SVG JS instance. I'm calling this SVG, and we're targeting an SVG that I've thrown up there in the HTML somewhere, and we're just setting the view box on that to our width and height. So we're drawing everything relative to this 1024 by 1024 kind of thing.
Cool.
And then there's a function called generate tree, which generates a tree that gets called first of all, so that there's something in the DOM, and then I repeatedly call that function over and over again.
That's what's causing
the kind of thing going on, and then every second. It was way faster. It was very intense. I decided to
tree.
It was a lot to deal with, so I just toned it down. So this is like where all of the majority of it is in generate tree. We start off by defining some colors. So we have like a background, a branch color, and some spec colors. And I got all of these colors. This is a good tip from this book about old paint.
Sorry,
I
forget that that's not a quick transition.
There it is.
Nice.
It's a book about old paints. And this is good. If you ever get stuck with color palettes or whatever, just like go and buy some books. Doesn't have to be about old paint. Could be about new paint or whatever. Just go buy it.
Not every book has to be about old paint. All right, Chad.
Can
if
be
you
new.
take one thing from George, it's that. Also, people are asking for where can you buy these glasses. So
I have no idea. They materialized just before the stream. I don't know.
Perfect. Cool. So we've got some colors that you got from a book, which is really cool.
Yeah. So it's a cool thing. And then we draw a rectangle. That's the background. That's just like an SVG rect element, nice. the kind of the classic. And then we define a tree height, which is just the width of our VBox times 0.75, which gives you 75%.
Got it.
Which is good. You could randomize that if you wanted to, but I didn't do it. And then the next thing, we actually start rendering something. And to do that, we create the trunk, which is the big line that runs down the middle of the tree there. And that's just using some SVG JS syntax where we say, oh, okay, just draw a line down the middle of the canvas and use CY to center it, which is a nice bit of syntactic sugar that SVG.js gives us. Cool. And then we give it a stroke, and then we have a cool, nice line, which is good. Yeah. It's fine. It's good. But then things start to get like really interesting when we start creating the little branches on either side. And so the first step for doing that is we define these trunk points. And what this is doing is I'm using this function points_in_path, which uses a combination of two SVG built-in functions, which is get total length and get point at length. And what this does is it can take any like SVG path or whatever and split it into equidistant points. So here we have this line, and so what we're saying is like, I'll put like a point like equidistant like some number of times on this line. In our case, that's maybe 16, somewhere between like 16 and 32. That's kind of how we got that set up. And then we define a start offset and an end offset, which is like, oh, maybe cut off some of the points at the start and the end so they don't run all the way down. And so you can see like the bottom, it starts a little bit higher up and it ends like a little bit. So there's that's right. So they're kind of offset. You're kind of doing like
that's that offset is essentially the height of what I would call the trunk or like the visible trunk on a tree, right?
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, that's like this because you don't have branches all the way up. That'd be crazy. that would make any sense. Yeah. So you're just kind of like pushing it up a little bit. Which is cool. And so we got that, and then we're defining a branch angle, which is at some degree. I'm all about the 8s in this. I have no idea why. Everything is 8s. Yeah, somewhere between like 24 and 48 is good. It's cool. Like this, doing this kind of thing. Yeah, that's what that does. And then after that, we define a max branch length, which is some division of the actual height of the tree. So it's like, give me like the widest branch is somewhere between like the total height divided by 6 and like the total height divided by 3. So that's sort of randomizing how big the branches could possibly be. Yeah, and so once I'm going through really fast with this, but hopefully it's not too crazy.
No, I think like the thing that I'm already taking away from it, and I hope chat's getting, is that like you build this up little bit by little bit, just like first make the trunk and then make this, right? Just like small steps, bit by bit, and like this all makes sense for each step. And like, but I wouldn't know how to get there, but now that I'm seeing it, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm seeing how you're doing it, and it's just really cool.
Yeah, do it like you draw it.
Yeah,
that's like that's the way I do it. Just like if I was to draw, I'd draw a trunk, and then I draw the things, and it's like, oh, okay, I'll just do that and
got it.
Give it names with words and JavaScript 9000.
Yeah, you got to use the newest JavaScript for sure.
Yes. So anyway, once we've got all of that stuff set up, we create like a for loop, classic from JavaScript 1, and then we start at the start offset and we go to the total number of points minus the end offset. So we pick like a subsection of points somewhere on that line, which kind of would look like this. If you were to move it up and down. So the offset can go on either end. Oh, so that's why sometimes it's got a space at the top. That's right. Yeah, it's just a little bit of extra.
Cool. So the offset doesn't have to happen from the bottom. I was assuming it was just cool. Makes
It's
sense.
both. It's kind of moving,
Got
yeah,
it.
like a moving little bit thing. And then in this loop, we see where we are in the loop. So this I value is going to go from some number to something, and we use this map function here to take this I value and map that to a new range. So it's like, oh, I've got this number I, which usually exists between the range start offset and the number of points minus the end offset. And what we want that to be is the max branch length divided by 8, somewhere between the max branch length divided by 8 and the max branch length. So the branches at the top are going to be little and small, and the branches at the bottom are going to be all big. And that's what's happening there.
Yeah.
And then right at the end, I multiply that number by like somewhere between 0.75 and 1, so that they're not all perfect.
So if I remove that, is that what I've been...
You should hopefully
That's what I've been wondering. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, I was wondering, how are you doing that? It's just random. That's really cool.
Yeah,
that's a really nice detail, because that was the part where I was like, that's it. It adds a natural feel to it. And I was wondering how you were doing it. That's such a nice, like, simple thing. That's so cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, with a lot of this stuff, it's about like, oh, where can I add little bits of like imperfection? Because like the world isn't perfect by any stretch, but like
those glasses are, but the rest of the world is not. No.
Yeah, so it's cool to kind of make that a little bit random. And then once we've got the branch length, we literally just going, draw me a line from this point on the trunk to somewhere over this way for the branch on the right, and somewhere over this way for the branch on the left, and rotate it with the origin being that point, and kind of push it up, or like push it. Yeah, just push it up. Doesn't go down. It could go down if you want to, but right now it only goes up.
So each branch is its own line. This isn't one line that has a bend in it, right? So
it's just one.
It's not like a path or a polygon or whatever it is.
No,
right?
It probably should be, but I can't. I don't know.
This is not a critique, my friend. I'm just making sure I understand it.
I don't know how that to do.
You should have done this differently. That's what I should say to everyone who comes on today. It's like, Kevin Powell, pretty cool CSS, but not how I would have done it.
Oh man. So that's kind of the branches anyway. And then once those are all drawn, after that for loop's done, we pretty much have a tree. And then the last thing that I do is add lots of tiny dots. I can't really see them.
But hopefully you can see them bigger. Chad, I don't know if you can see them. Because like it doesn't scale in the same way, but they are there. And if you open it on your screen, you can see it too. So let me just copy this again. We can see them. Awesome. Thank you, Ryan.
Nice. Yes, they are. They're there. They're little
just
tiny
dropping that link again.
Circles. Yeah.
Awesome. So cool. How are we doing that? Is that what we're dipping into next?
Should be, just hanging out down there. Yeah, there it is. All right. Yeah, so it's again with the 8s, 120. I don't know what was going on with me.
It's the secret to your power, George. I've been using 7s this whole time, and my art is garbage. So
never 5, never 3.
I feel ridiculous, honestly.
Always
it was 8s. There the whole time.
It's like a little pixel grid, but like very abstract and weird. We're just saying like, what we're saying is just make me 128 dots, please, and give each of them a random color. And to do that, we're using this random function that I use for loads of stuff. And this random function, you can just pass an array, and it'll just pick you one of the items from the array at random and just return that. Nice. In our case, this is just like a bunch of hex strings, and it picks them and it pops them all in, and that is it. And you've made a Christmas card, and you've got time to print it and write on it and give it to whoever you want to give it to.
It's really cool. But like, honestly, like if someone handed me this, I'd be like, this is awesome. Thank you. And it's like simple, not as an insult. I'm not able like it's beautifully simple. Like it's design simple. I don't know how better to explain it than that.
Yeah.
I love it. Right.
Like doesn't have to be complicated.
Right.
Yeah.
Some of the best things are just gorgeously simple, and this definitely falls in. Yeah, elegant. Thank you, Marlon. I'm like, I need to look at the chat because there's someone in chat who's better at this than I am.
Well, what's that thing? like the perfection is like when you can't take anything else away, isn't it? Like not when you can't add anything else.
Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, or however you say the guy's name who wrote The Little Prince. Basically, he also had a quote.
Right.
That's his quote, and
is that it?
Yeah, spot on. Yeah,
nice.
Design. Well, yeah, design is about like not adding more, but like when you can't take anything away.
Apart from tiny dots, add loads of tiny dots.
Yeah, please more dots,
Yeah,
and let's randomize those branches some more. No, this is great. This is great.
Yeah. We can. I mean, that's it. That's kind of it now. You could just take this and do whatever with it, break it, make it point weird ways, and change the line weights and all of that kind of thing.
No, it's really cool. I really appreciate. Oh, was there one? Did you want to touch on this?
Yeah. I forgot.
We only have like 1 minute, but
okay. This is the same thing, but on a blob. Done. It's the same. It's points. It's getting the points of the blob, and it's putting circles on the points of the blob.
I love it. It's so cool, though.
Thank you. This is It's These are Cassie's colors for the VBox. These are I stole them.
Nice, good. She wasn't using them anymore, so yeah, let's take those colors back. I do love just your design chops and just how everything you touch looks really nice and fancy. Like it just looks so good. Thank you, Ben, for plugging George's stuff. Yeah, please follow George. George has a phenomenal site, phenomenal everything. Unfortunately, we don't have any extra time to run you through all of his things, but George has been on this show like 5 times now. I keep inviting him back because of the glasses, chat. It's entirely because of the glasses. So yeah, George, can't wait to have you back in the new year. Happy holidays, my friend. I know you got a Christmas thing to go to.
Yeah.
I will let you get to it. Thank you so much for coming on and showing us this awesome generative stuff. Take care, my friend.